What is going on, guys? It is your boy Cash, and we're here today to go over none of the characters currently sitting at this table, but the one that just popped up on the TV over here. And the one that popped up on this commercial. Like father, like daughter. I swear this is gonna probably be one of the worst side stories, but I'll go over it later if you guys want me to. I mean, it's a little bit slim pickings right now, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, let's get on to the guide and teach you guys, or try to teach you guys, or say a bunch of things, and some people might agree or disagree to you guys about how this character works. Now, Basar is actually one of the OG characters in the game. Was released when they first dropped the game about a year ago. I mean, it's definitely been a year. I don't know why I say about a year ago. So he was first in the game, and nobody liked this character. I actually always liked the character. They changed him up a little bit recently, but his purpose was relatively the same. So let's look at his base stats to get a little idea of what we're looking at, right? Yeah, so right there, and then right there. So Basar is actually one of the higher attackers in the game. And attackers as in just he has a really high base attack. His speed is, it's okay. 108 is not that bad. He has, you know, some additional effectiveness that he's gonna get, you know, when he awakens, which is pretty good. And his health is so-so, but he has very high attack, which is good, but he's not really used for DPS, unfortunately. He'll do some damage, and if you want to get him fast enough, he could like do some damage, but he's not cleaving teams. You don't put Basar on a team to cleave. You put him on the team to do what these skills are gonna do that I'm about to tell you. Let's get into it.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? Yes, I do. And I'm about to show you, I'm about to show everyone how dope you are. Now, this character, again, like they switched up I think his S1 and his S2, they made them a lot better. But his S3 is still pretty much the same. But we're going to start off with the S1, the Sand Wind. Attacks with wind magic. When the caster is debuffed, has a 50% chance to transfer one buff from the caster to an enemy before inflicting a random debuff. As you can see that the chance goes up from 60%, 65%. Ding ding ding, that's trash. Anyway, but it is a, you know, you can get a random debuff, and as it says, it will be silenced, decreased defense, decreased attack, or unhealable. It's somewhat random, but it still has a little selection of what it is, and any other buff that could come along that he already has. So if, let's say if he has hit chance reduction or something like that, or, you know, whatever, poison, bleed, burn, he can then transfer that. Now, you know, you're thinking counter meta, but no, please God, no. That's not what you're going to be using this for. His S1, you probably won't see it until you S2 and S3. Next up is the S2. Well, let me just throw a couple S1s out there so you can see it. Nice, cool. Like, it's cool that he has like the magical powers, like spinning a tornado, and then he like kind of throws it. And that same swirl.
Whose turn is it today?
Whose turn is it today? He's so cocky. And you know, it's like he's putting it onto you, then it looks like he boom, makes it even bigger with the S2 Hurricane. Attacks all enemies by releasing a hot sand hurricane. Not a cold or a lukewarm sand hurricane, but it's hot. So you're gonna get bothered by it with a 60% chance each to decrease the hit chance and attack. And it looks like it goes up to 75% to do so. Now, what's really good about this is those two debuffs pretty much significantly reduce the damage of most heroes in the game that are DPS damage dealers. Outside of the ones that do HP percentage damage or like speed damage, they still need attack, so lowering their attack will still reduce the damage that they do. And then hit chance, if you miss attack, you lose a lot of damage as well. So they changed it, but I think before it was just decreased attack, or it was just hit chance, and then they add the other one. So this move is really good at, again, screwing over the opponent, so you guys can start to see that we're definitely dealing with someone that needs effectiveness here. So it's really good that he awakens into some of it, and then you really just have to worry about the speed. So you're gonna use this pretty much as a follow-up in the S3 if the match isn't over, because it's usually used on cleave teams or any type of teams that are going to allow you to land debuffs, because the S3, the Sandstorm, attacks all enemies with sand magic, dispelling all debuffs and making them unable to buff for 2 turns before decreasing combat readiness by 30%. Now you can see that no additional effectiveness or whatever goes up, it's just the damage and the cooldown. So your first turn is definitely going to be spent S3ing. Why? Because you're going to remove all their buffs, and as you can see, the magicalness of disappearing act, that there are no chances of this. So yeah, as you can see, 60% chance here, 50% chance here. When you see no chance, I will say it 18,000 times, 3 weeks to Sunday, because I still don't know what the hell that means. But when you see that, that means that it will activate all the time. You don't have to worry about a 60% chance for it to activate or a 50% chance to activate. It is 100% going to activate. Then it will go against your effectiveness versus their effective resistance. This is really good, so if you stack enough effectiveness, you can almost guarantee that you will dispel the buffs and then leave the unable to buff when you use this S3. And of course, why not slap on that decreased combat readiness to make sure that the other people do not go. What's really important here is that if you would like to spend 20 souls, they also decided to destroy the game and give him a soul burn that ignores effect resistance. So like I just said, now you're guaranteeing that it's going to activate. If you soul burn it, all three of those things will happen. There's literally nothing the opponent can do about it. You will dispel all the buffs that they have on currently. You will make them unable to buff for 2 turns, and you will push them back, and then you will probably cleave that ass. There's literally nothing that the opponent can do if you soul burn this, and that's what makes him super strong. If you don't have Basar, if you've been thinking about, I don't know if I should summon for him. Yeah, he's kind of busted right now. Some YouTubers, I think YDCB and maybe some others, when they first made this change, they kind of showcased him and show how strong he is. He's still one of the best strippers. Yeah, he's one of the best strippers in the game because it's literally guaranteed. You don't have to worry about anything, especially if you just put on the soul burn. So let's look at the S3 animation for the thumbnail. Guy loves this. And the way he talks is like, it's like, he's so cocky. I mean, it's cool, but these bags here got fucked. As you can see here, they would have, if they had any buffs, they would have been gone. 2 turns, and also they got pushed back, even though I'm the only one that gets to turn in this lovely simulation here. With all that being said, let's go over to the gear so I can tell you the most basic information that you ever needed to hear for some god-awful reason. Hey man, and it's free unequipped, so if you got the character, why don't you go around and experiment? Just kidding, there will be absolutely no experimentation going on because the only thing that you need to be putting on this man is speed. Speed, and effectiveness. I'm not going to go through every single one here. He's supposed to go first. If you're bringing him in there, it sucks that his base speed is only 108. You know, you got to really put a lot of speed on it. That means that your boots need to be like this. 85, I think. I don't know if 88 gives you more than 40 speed. Don't ask me because I never had a piece of 88 gear unless they gave it to me. But you definitely want speed on the boots to make sure you got that, and you have speed set somewhere. I would pretty much say you're almost locked to going speed effectiveness. Anything else is probably against the law. You don't need immunity because you should be going first. If you don't go first, everything is probably ruined. Everything is ruined because the person that's probably outspeeding you is probably a dizzy, or they're gonna do their cleave on you and you lost. So you need the fastest. Just if you wanna do BS in PvP, give him your fastest gear and you should be fine, because remember, he's gonna push them back 30%. So even if your team has subpar, like everyone else has like subpar speed gear, they probably will then go after your Basar goes. So it's a really easy cleave. He will go first, he'll push everyone back, then your other team, you can have a CR pusher, and then your killer. You know, after that it's pretty much done deal. Depending on your gear, you have to pretty much be able to know how good that's gonna go. That's kind of up to you. No other gear sets here, in my opinion, are going to do him justice. You can run him as a DPS, but there's really no reason to do that. If your speed set kind of has some attack in there, I would say make sure it is attack. Make sure that the ring, there it is, yes, the ring has effectiveness. If you want to throw in, if it is some attacks up land, don't be afraid to like use it, or if it's crit or something like that. Him doing damage just kind of helps your cleave a little bit, or your snipe, whatever you're trying to set up. All that being said, let's go over to the artifacts. Again, very basic character, very easy to use. Alright, we're here, baby. Let's go in and look at these artifacts, and I'll tell you what you should be bringing to the party. Abyssal Crown is going to be something super fantastic. It's more or less of a failsafe, I would have to say. Remember, you're going to be taking away all their buffs, so if they do have immunity, you will strip that. And remember, this artifact triggers after the attack, so they will not be able to buff. They will have their buff stripped, and then you have a possibility to stun. So Abyssal Crown is pretty good. It's more, like I said, of a failsafe if your cleave for some reason does not work. Not my first choice, obviously, but it is a good option in my opinion to mention. Necro and Undine or Undine or Undine, I have no idea. This one's decent. Again, you should be winning pretty much after you do your S3. Everything else is going to be about your team. But if you kind of want to get to that point where you get that S2 off a little bit quicker, I think this artifact is good. If you have it, it's obviously has Dizzy on it, so if you wasn't in the Guilty Gear thing, you don't have it. So I do think that it's still pretty good, and it will allow you to get that S2 up and, you know, have even more control. Basar is all about controlling the fight very early and screwing over the opponent before they have a chance to do anything. Now, Tao's book is probably the #1 pick, because he's just there to kind of strip. He's not really there to do damage. He does his job and it's done. It's a really good artifact to just kind of stick on him. It's 4-star, so it's likely that you can max it pretty easily. You get the 20 souls. As we saw before, his 20 souls, the soul burn, his S3, and he does his job almost flawlessly. And then every other character can have their best artifact. So if you're running another mage, let's say you're using Lulika for cleave for some reason or something, or you're using Ludwig for the cleave or something, now he can have his Portrait of the Saviors, his Exorcist Anfas, and your Basar can just have this and use the souls. Also, you know, if you're using 2 mages that need more, like if you're using that in the Tywin setup, then you can have 2 mages, with one being Basar and another mage having the other Tagaheli's, whatever the hell, book, and then that's 40 souls right there in the beginning, really easy. Or this one in a auxiliary locks, that's another good combination. So you have some options, but I think this is one of the best options that he should have on him, since you don't need him to really do much else. See, that in is going to be for the same thing as Abyssal Crown, just to throw on a random debuff on top of that. Not really that good, but I just thought I'd mention it. Here the Desert, because he's on the cover, just kidding, don't use it. And since he is pretty much a stripper, he just needs effectiveness, I'm just going to quickly mention stuff like Rainbow Scale, you know, giving all your allies pretty much free stats just from being in the party, like Rainbow Scale, Spooky, Salud Stories, Midnight Bloom, stuff like that. If your party needs it, I know it's not something too big to mention, but I just thought I'd mention it. As you can see, my Basar is doing fantastic. He has great gear. I mean, can you honestly imagine putting armor on such a guy? Look at his fashion sense. I can't put any gear on him. He looks too good. He looks too good. I can't put gear on him. I also can't level him up. I also barely play this game. Just so you guys know, I will be having some Pokemon content. I gotta get a new capture card, so that's gonna be coming up fairly soon. Hope you guys look forward to that. Hope you guys enjoyed this guide as well. I know it's a little bit slim pickings in the Epic 7 world, but since there is technically a new banner, I thought I'd give you guys some insight on what you could do with this character. I hope it was nice, quick, straight to the point. I'm trying to get better with that as we proceed. But one thing that you don't have to worry about is that every day at the Kashino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.